I know how hard you are working on this every single day now. What are we seeing in this Texas legislator who's coming out and saying, oh, no, sorry, the 1 p.m., that was a scrivener's error. We made a little mistake. Any other mistakes they want to admit to at this point?
I think they're just hoping that you wouldn't notice. And that might be why the Senate version of this was debated literally through the small hours of the night into the morning and was passed, I think, at 5:30 a.m. El Paso time. The next day in the House, they had dumped on them 20 new pages of amendments that they didn't have time to read before the debate and the vote was going to be called. But thank God for those Texas House Democrats who, though they were in the minority, were able to stop this voter suppression bill, SB 7, that had all the provisions that you just described, and also included one that would allow the state of Texas to overturn a lawfully, legitimately, democratically decided election based on simply the allegation of fraud. It's something that folks threatened to do in 2020. If passed in Texas, the legislature would have the power to do that in, say, the 2024 presidential election, when now 40 electoral college votes are at stake. So it's very clear what they're trying to do, but it's also clear they tried to do it under the cover of darkness. Now that they've been stopped, now that the Texas Democrats have bought us some time, we've got to make the most of it. And the only way really, Lawrence, to do that is to ensure that the United States Senate and President Joe Biden pass the For the People Act. It is within their power. Unlike the Texas Democrats in the minority, they're actually in the majority. They can do this. They just have to decide that they want to and get it done.
Let's listen to what Mark Elias said about that. He is the election lawyer working for the Democrats all over the country, bringing lawsuits all over the country, fighting these things. He says the solution is national. And we can give it to you. I'm going to read it, this passage from the New York Times about this meeting that he had with the Senate Democrats last week, where he was in there. I've been in those meetings in the Senate where they're all gathered around in one room. Senator Manchin was there, and the New York Times report indicates that Senator Manchin just listened silently to Mark Elias throughout that discussion. Then when it was over, he told reporters, I'm learning. Basically, we're going to be talking and negotiating, talking and negotiating, talking and negotiating. What's your reaction to that?
You know, I'm so glad that you played some of that Instagram live interview with Stacey Abrams earlier. She recounted this wonderful story that took place in 1964. Andrew Young and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. went in to visit President Lyndon Baines Johnson and said, we've got to pass a Voting Rights Act. And President Johnson was purported to say, I don't have the power. Congress isn't going to do this. And when they left, Dr. King apparently said to Andrew Young, you know, we're going to get this done. And Andrew Young says, how in the world are we going to do that? And Dr. King said, we're going to get the president some power. I think that's what Stacey and other civil rights and voting rights leaders are doing at this moment. We know that President Biden wants to sign this into law. He mentioned it yesterday at the commemoration of the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa Massacre, connected it to voting rights and civil rights and this fight before us right now. But we, the people of this country, need to help give him and those Senate Democrats who want to get this done the power to get it done, because I firmly believe we will not get a second crack at this. If we lose democracy in this year, in 2021, it's not like we get another shot in 2022 or 2023. Once we lose it, it is gone forever. And with more than 360 voter suppression bills spread out across 47 state legislatures, the first successful attack on the U.S. Capitol since the War of 1812 just 5 months ago, and now conspiracy theorists spreading the rumor that somehow Donald Trump's going to rise from the ashes and take control of our government again. It's not beyond what is possible to think that there will be more political violence and more attempts to suppress votes or overturn elections. This one's on us. We've got about a month left to us before the Texas legislature's called back into special session. They try to pass this again. We've got about 2 months before we lose this opportunity over the summer to get this bill done. I really hope we can rally the country to the cause of democracy and passing the For the People Act.
Well, you know, what you've just said is exactly why I present this as the number one issue. I'm not the only one to do it, because it is so obvious that if you lose democracy, if you lose that, you won't be able to achieve any of your other aims through your vote if they manage to block it this way. And trying to explain this to people who live in states, like Massachusetts, California, where their particular voting process is never threatened by a Republican legislature, there is that linkage that Stacey Abrams was making tonight that, yes, but your vote in California is fed into an electoral college that can be corrupted by these Republican state legislatures.
That's absolutely right. You won't have a Democratic nominee win the presidency in future years if all of these voter suppression laws pass. Because in addition to making it harder for people to vote, and let's be clear, they're making it harder for Black Americans to vote in Texas, for those with disabilities, for those who live in big cities, they're also now reserving the right to overturn elections. And so there goes your opportunity to win Texas, to win Georgia again, to win Arizona, to win Iowa. I mean, this is literally happening across the country. And just what gets me, Lawrence, is that the Republicans are so monomaniacally focused on getting this done. And it sometimes feels like Democrats are blindly seeking some kind of compromise out there from a party that foisted this insurrection upon us in the first place, is trying to suppress the vote across the country, and is really dragging down democracy with it. We've got to stand for something. And if as Americans we don't stand for this democracy that men and women in uniform fought and died for, that men and women in the civil rights era fought and died for, then who are we at the end of the day? I sure hope the Democrats stand for this if they stand for anything at all. This is their chance to prove that to the country.